95%. That is the number OpenAI published last week for its new hacking model, right next to 1.5% for the normal one. And that is how it got written up. 63 times better at breaking into things. Except that is not what the number measures. It is not a success rate. It is a response rate. It counts how often the model agrees to answer, not how often it wins. And in the two tests where OpenAI actually measured skill, the model with the safety locks still on came out ahead. So, worth the hype? Let us go through the receipts. On August 10th, OpenAI launched GPT-5.6 Cyber, its first model trained to say yes to offensive security work. And to prove what it unlocks, OpenAI published one internal evaluation. Read its name slowly. Advanced Cybersecurity Completion Rate. Completion rate, not success rate. Subscribe because every week I take one hyped tech story and check it against the primary sources, not the headline about the source. Now here is the definition OpenAI printed under its own graph. Quote, it measures how often models will respond to requests involving exploit chain development, authentication bypass, and privilege escalation. Respond, not solve. That was public the entire time. So here's the full scoreboard, straight off OpenAI's page. On that response test, the new cyber model answers 95% of advanced requests. Regular GPT 5.6 Sol answers 1.5. On the defensive tier, the same Sol answers 2%. And last year's cyber model answered 57.3. Now read that list again, because it is not a capability chart. It is a refusal chart. Those four numbers describe how often each model is willing to engage with the prompt at all. And OpenAI is not hiding it. They wrote the definition directly under the graph, and they say the model was trained, quote, to further reduce refusals. The coverage turned a refusal chart into a power ranking. Now the part almost nobody covered, and it is on that same page. OpenAI also ran tests that measure ability instead of willingness. It lost two of them. On Exploit Bench, which takes a real Chrome V8 flaw and asks the agent to build a working exploit with the sandbox still turned on, OpenAI says the best performer is GPT 5.6 Sol on the defensive tier. The locked model. On the vulnerability discovery and report writing evaluation, the cyber model performs worse than Sol because it writes shorter reports. It does when the other two, Exploit Gym and the zero-day severity test. So the honest score is 2-2. And under OpenAI's own preparedness framework, both models land on high for cyber capability, and neither one reaches the critical threshold. Their words, improved, but not sufficiently. Now the honest part, because the capability here is not fake and the receipt is enormous. OpenAI pointed this model at V8, the JavaScript engine inside Chrome, and it found two previously unknown flaws that chained together to escape the sandbox. Google confirmed it and shipped a fix as CVE 2026-15903. That is a third party paying the bill, not a demo. The same model also turned up over 400 privilege escalation flaws in a popular operating system kernel, 3 critical ones in a popular database, and at least 5 in a mobile OS. And to be fair to OpenAI, they also stated plainly that this model was not involved in the Hugging Face incident from July. That is the video on your screen right now. So, worth the hype? 2 claims, 2 verdicts. Claim 1. OpenAI built a model that will do offensive security work that other models refuse. That one is real. 95% against 1.5 is a documented collapse in refusals, and the Chrome bugs prove there is real ability behind it. Claim 2. That this is an AI that is 63 times better at hacking, and that anyone can now point it at anything. That is the hype. The number is a response rate. The locked model beat it on the hardest skill test on the page, and access runs through identity verification, monitoring, legal attestations, and mandatory hardware keys starting September 1st. So here is the verdict. Wait, not because the model is weak, but because what changed here is a permission slip, not a superpower, and the headline sold you the opposite. Every week, I take one hype tech story and check it against the primary sources. Subscribe. The next one is already loading.